Meanwhile, now on the 2016 campaign trail, Hillary Clinton will make her first joint appearance with Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren today. That'll come in Ohio. The progressive icon, Warren, is now rumored to be on the short list, perhaps, to be Clinton's vice president, and Warren is expected to continue to attack Donald Trump on Clinton's behalf. This all comes as Hillary Clinton continues to outperform Trump in certain general election polls. One new poll, you see that to your left, has her up 5 points. Another has her up 12. Nancy Gibbs is the editor of Time Magazine, here with me on set. Nancy, great to have you.
Nice to be
appreciate
here.
the time. I want to start with this joint appearance today, we're now seeing, by Hillary Clinton and Elizabeth Warren. Warren, to this degree, and certainly through the GOP primary season, had played a great attack dog, if you will, specifically on Trump's chosen medium of Twitter. Do we expect then today, in this first formal appearance by these two, to hear more of the same?
Yes, I would be shocked if she was not in full attack mode, among other things. I mean, and we have actually seen Hillary Clinton go more, not quite to the degree that Warren is, but go more in that direction with Trump and be more effective in her attacks. But I definitely think that's where we will see Elizabeth Warren. I think it's a place where she can be very valuable to Clinton. She has a knack for clarifying issues and being very pointed in her criticisms, and so I certainly expect, particularly in a battleground state like Ohio, they'll be in Cincinnati. It's the third time Hillary is in Ohio in as many weeks. This is clearly a big focus for her in her campaign, and so bringing Elizabeth Warren with her, knowing that that will get a great deal of attention, it tells you a lot that this is the first time the two women will have appeared together, and it's almost July. But I do think that it's something that works very well for both of them and both of their political interests.
The knee-jerk was perhaps this is a look at possible Veep stakes here, but is this much more of a nod to the supporters of Bernie Sanders to stick with us, if nothing else?
You know, it's a set piece in every presidential campaign that the names that get leaked as possible vice presidential candidates are valuable ways of telling different constituencies that you care about them, you're considering them, you're giving serious thought to putting a fill-in-the-blank young person, old person, white person, green person on the ticket. But when you look at what most presidential candidates, and certainly Hillary Clinton, care most about in a running mate, in her case, someone who can be commander-in-chief on the first day, that's a very serious qualification, and I'm not sure Elizabeth Warren would pass that test.
In the last month, we've also seen the Clinton campaign, it seems, take what are seen as self-inflicted wounds by Donald Trump and the Trump campaign and react to them. And in that way, look to make perhaps as little news as it can and just continue in its way to point out what it perceives as Donald Trump's flaws. Would then a Tim Kaine, who this on the Sunday shows this past weekend said, look, I'm boring, but boring is a valued demographic right now. Does he become a more likely pick as the days now go?
Well, if you think about it, if you think about the Clinton message, which is about stability and incremental change, and don't run the risk of a revolutionary, of an outsider, of someone who has never stepped foot in anything like the Situation Room, then she has to double down on boring and experience and status quo, and it would be completely inauthentic for her to pretend to be an outsider. She can't go there. And so it makes much more sense to gently remind people of the virtues of stability at a time when the world is looking particularly volatile and unstable. And this is where I think it'll be fascinating to see how the Brexit fallout works. In the immediate moment, it's very easy to say, look at all of this populist and nationalist fervor that has been unleashed by this, and surely these are the same forces that Trump has been tapping into, and it's very easy to make a kind of facile argument about that. But it is also possible, particularly if we see real instability in the markets, if people see what the Clinton campaign keeps pointing to of the hit this is taking on their retirement funds, If there is a threat to the stability and the effectiveness of other international institutions, then change doesn't necessarily look as attractive,
right.
and the status quo starts to have appeal. It may not be glamorous, it may not be sexy, it may not be revolutionary, but it may be more appealing than the alternative.
There are 3 million Britons who signed petitions who apparently find immediate change to be less than interesting. I want to play. You mentioned volatile. I want to play the newest campaign from the Clinton. The newest campaign ad from the Clinton campaign with regard to Donald Trump's perceived volatility.
Enormous shockwaves from Britain's historic vote to leave the European Union. Global markets are plummeting.
Every president is tested by world events, but Donald Trump thinks about how his golf resort can profit from them.
When the pound goes down, more people are coming to Turnberry.
Stocks tank around the world.
Brand new sprinkler system, the highest level.
He's talking about his new sprinkler system.
In a volatile world, the last thing we need is a volatile president.
There does seem, as even analysts over the pond are still saying, we're not really sure what the long-term impact of the Brexit is going to be. There seems to be a pick and choose quality here, really, for both. But as the way the Clinton campaign is looking to frame Donald Trump and his immediate response in Scotland, I might add, to the Brexit, how effective do you see it being as something that really gains traction here?
Well, the most recent polls over the weekend had, I think the Washington Post poll had something like 66% of people saying that Trump was not qualified to be president, which is a formidably high number. What's fascinating is he continues to win when you're polling about different qualities. He wins on strength, on combating terrorism. He certainly wins among voters who are looking for change. And so what I will be fascinated to watch going forward is the often all-important security mom vote, who in the past, for instance in the 2004 election, have shown their willingness to vote for a candidate who they don't agree with on a great many issues if they think that he will keep the country safe. And so what I'll be fascinated to see this time around is whether the aura of strength that Trump has been promoting, that he is the guy who can keep the country safe and fight for America, make America great again, will appeal to the security moms, or whether the Clinton campaign will be able to portray him as someone who actually puts the country at risk, that the lack of experience, the temperament issues, the lack of qualification issue is actually a threat to the safety of those families, and that those women will therefore be inclined to go the other way with something that's much more stable and predictable and less volatile, as the ad suggests.
The rhetoric notwithstanding, we have one who's a foreign policy hawk, the other's an economic populist, but it's like they've changed hats. It's up continues to be down, I think, in this election cycle, if nothing else. Nancy Gibbs, we really appreciate the time today.
Nice to be here.